Hey y'all, my name's Evan Fathy, and I'm a housing attorney here at Open Door Legal. I'm delighted to host this year's gala. Thanks to my utter charm and perhaps a lack of other options, I've been asked to step in this year and help get y'all excited for our evening together. To help me do that, I'd like to welcome my compatriot for all the fun, the Kris Jenner to my Kim Kardashian, my podmate and favorite co-host, Tara McComber.
Thanks, Devin. I am so excited to be here as a host. I am the senior general law attorney, and this is actually my third gala. After my first one, I ended up crying in the back of the room and pleading Adrian to give me a job. Apparently, he was very confused. But you see, look at me now, kids. Dreams really do come true.
Yeah, totally, Tara. I can relate. I mean, my path to joining the team was pretty interesting too. Like after graduating law school, I took the bar and then I volunteered for Open Door Legal. I actually took a fellowship just to see what happens because I told about this really cool org that was doing awesome things out in Bayview. And even though I was offered other jobs along the way, I stuck with Open Door Legal until I was hired on as a housing attorney. I guess you can say they just couldn't get rid of me.
Wow, Devin, you were offered other jobs? This was the only job I was ever offered.
Yeah, I was, and Adrian, our director, actually specifically told me to say that. He also wanted me to say I was like a barnacle or something, that like they actually like I volunteered for them, but like y'all definitely paid me, so like at worst it was like a low paid internship.
A barnacle? I wouldn't say a barnacle. I would like to think of our team as like a pack of killer dolphins. You are definitely a killer dolphin, not a barnacle. But before we get started and we talk way more about us, we want to take a moment to give a huge thanks to all of our sponsors. So, on the protector level, we have Good Paper, a company that makes handcrafted fair trade greeting cards, and Charcis Fries, a San Francisco law firm that serves businesses and individuals in over 9 practice areas. On the community level, we have Wooford Wayne, Kecker Van Nest and Peters, Davis Polk, Kirkland and Ellis, Liberation Law Group, and Olivier Schreiber and Chow. On the neighborhood level, we have Renee Public Law Group, Day Springs Technology, Rainbow Grocery, Wilson Sansani, and Epic Church.
Yeah, thanks y'all for making our work possible. And before we get started, we actually want to share a little bit about Open Door Legal.
Yes, Open Door Legal is pioneering the country's first system of universal access to civil legal representation here in San Francisco. We believe legal help is the most effective way to address poverty in our city and across the country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to us, universal access boils down to a promise that anyone who needs legal help but can't afford it will still be able to get it within our defined service area. You know, it's actually the first time that this is being tried in our country's history.
Yeah. Over the last 7 years, we've grown 100 times. We have proved that universal access to legal help is possible and it dramatically reduces poverty. In the next years, we hope to finish scaling citywide, make San Francisco the first city with universal access, and become a model for national replication.
Yeah, so tonight's gala is themed around preventing displacement and the many ways in which injustice can cause people to lose everything, including their homes and the families that they love. As we've seen in the past few months, our country is coming to terms with the systemic racism that harms Black Americans every day. And I mean, in our line of work, we frequently witness the effects of racism. I mean, from Black clients who are disproportionately harassed by their landlords to Black domestic survivors whose complaints aren't taken as seriously as their white counterparts. And in communities of color, this discrimination just means that the need for universal access to legal aid is just that much more crucial. And I'm proud to say that over the past 7 years, Open Door Legal has represented over 2,000 individuals and families. And since our last gala, we've expanded to 2 new neighborhoods and now serve over 40% of San Francisco's low-income population. And the overwhelming majority of our clients are people of color, and 50% are Black.
This evening, we will join together to continue growing our services and raise enough money to help at least 100 families stay in the place they call home. We can change the narrative from one of exclusion and injustice to one of belonging. Every case on the average costs about $2,000. So that means we are going to raise $200,000 tonight. But before we begin sharing stories, we want to make sure that everyone is watching has registered for the event. If you registered for our gala in advance, you should have received a welcome text message sometime in the past week. If you didn't register, go to bidpal.net/ODL and sign up with your email. This is very important if you want to participate in the evening. The link to register is also in the video description. But if you need any help, you can comment on the stream or text 415-480-1289, and someone from our team can answer any question.
Yeah, so we're going to share 3 stories tonight, and after each story, you're going to hear from us and have the opportunity to help get us closer to our goal of serving another 100 families. And although we may not be able to celebrate in person this year, we are still gathered around the same cause, so we're totally here together. So we encourage you to leave a comment as the event goes on. We will have a moderator to filter out any lewd comments, so you can just send them directly to me instead. And we may even feature your comment.
Okay, so tonight our first story is about a mother whose son was almost torn away from her and her journey to keep him in this country. Let's hear their story.
When my parents first moved to the US, they had to start all over again. My dad was a doctor in China, but when he got to the US, he had to take up carpentry as a trade. My family's story is an immigrant story. They left southern China as the Cultural Revolution was tearing the country apart. And I have uncles who are refugees, and my family came to the US to build a better life. My parents came to the Bay Area and soon settled in the Excelsior neighborhood here in San Francisco. Growing up, my parents did a good job of shielding me from the difficulty that they faced. But as I got older, I learned just how challenging things actually were for them as immigrants, and I decided to devote my career to helping people like them. 2 years ago, I joined Open Door Legal as the team's immigration attorney. I've gotten to meet so many clients whose stories reminded me of my parents. And one of those clients was Maria, a mom who, just like my parents, sacrificed everything so that her family could have a better life. Maria and her children, Jose, Leslie, and Lady, were born in Guadalajara, Mexico. It was a difficult place to grow up for Jose because he was regularly targeted by the gangs, as many young boys his age were. Maria knew that if they stayed in Guadalajara, Jose would have 2 paths. 1, join a gang, or 2, become the victim of one. So she made the difficult decision to move her family almost 2,000 miles away to the Mission District in San Francisco. Even with all that distance, Jose still had trouble escaping the violence. He was frequently targeted for not being in a gang. Once, gang members even attacked Jose, his mom, and his sister, and beat them so badly that they all had to be hospitalized after. This vicious attack actually made the family eligible for a special kind of visa for victims of crime called a U visa. But a U visa is only a temporary benefit. And thankfully, they recovered, but Jose's life was never the same. The people who attacked Jose were arrested, but their friends wanted revenge. Jose, who was a high schooler at the time, couldn't even walk the streets alone for fear of getting attacked. Maria needed her son to be safe, and she knew that things were too risky in the city. So she decided to send him to Texas to live with her sister while things calmed down over here. Years later, Jose returned from Texas. The family's U visas were set to expire, so Maria applied for them all to get green cards. She went to a local social service agency to help. Maria waited anxiously for the results. When she finally got the letter in the mail, she was devastated. Everyone in the family's green cards had been approved, except for Jose's. USCIS was asking for more evidence about Jose because of an interaction he had with law enforcement back in Texas. He had been caught smoking weed when he was in high school. Because of this, Jose was now at risk for deportation. USCIS gave Jose 3 months to send in the evidence, or his application for a green card would automatically be denied. When that happened, they would transfer his file to Homeland Security, where the government would start pursuing an order of deportation against him. To Maria's dismay, things just kept getting worse. 4 weeks before the documents were due, the agency their family was working with called Maria. "We're dropping your son's case," they told her. "It's too difficult for us. We recommend that you hire a private attorney." Maria, who worked as a nanny, knew she couldn't afford that. She feared that she would lose her son forever. Maria had done everything she could up to that point to keep her son safe, and she wasn't about to give up now. She searched online and found Open Door Legal. Maria booked an emergency appointment, and that is where I first met her. At the appointment, I learned that we only had 12 days left to submit the evidence. If we missed the deadline, Jose would be at risk of deportation. It was 3 months of work that had to be done in under 2 weeks. So, we got to work. My team and I tracked down the documents from a courthouse in Texas. We drafted declarations from friends and family that helped show the agency what kind of a person Jose is and why he deserves to stay. All of these forms needed to be submitted in English. So Zoe, our superstar, fearless paralegal, tirelessly translated the documents back and forth so that Maria and Jose could understand them. The day before the deadline, we overnighted the response with as much of the information and records as we could get within the time allowed. Included in the package was a letter that Maria wrote, explaining how important her son was to her, pleading to USCIS to grant her son permanent resident status. Here's what the letter said. "To whom it may concern, I would like to ask immigration to please grant my son residency. I have such a close relationship with my son. He, more than anyone else in the world, provides me with the emotional support and consolation I need. I want to ask you to please grant my son residency, because if he is deported to Mexico, we would not be the same people. I ask you to please listen to my requests, the mother of a son who wants to see her family together. Thank you. Maria Torres, mother of Jose Torres." On Tuesday, November 26th, Maria and Jose got a very special call. It was Zoe, telling them that Jose's green card had finally arrived at our office. 2 days later, Maria, Jose, and the rest of their family celebrated their first Thanksgiving with Jose as a lawful permanent resident. And now, they really aren't the same people. They're freer, free from the threat of deportation and separation due to Jose's status, free to build a new life for themselves here in the United States. And they're using their time in the States to make San Francisco a better city for all of us. Jose's little sister, Leslie, for instance, witnessed the incredible hardship that her brother faced, so she became an advocate against peer violence, and her work was even honored by the mayor's office. Jose's older sister, Lady, just got married, and she has 2 kids, Maria's first 2 grandkids. And of course, there's Jose. He's a shy young man with a kind heart. And now that all of this is over, he works as a carpenter. He's eager to start the new life that his mother fought so hard for him to have. In 2019, over 78,000 people like Jose had their green card requests denied. This is 20% more than the year prior. To change this through politics may require years of negotiations. Luckily, I have some good news. One of the most common reasons for denials are application mistakes. Just by helping people fill out their immigration forms, we can keep more people in this country lawfully today. Jose's story shows that for thousands of immigrants, there is already a legal path to permanent residency and citizenship. If only they could get the legal help. You made it possible for us to keep this family together. For Jose to start a new life. For Leslie and Lady to have their brother. For Maria to watch her children grow up safely. And for that, we could not be more grateful. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you all so much, Jose and Maria, for bravely sharing your story. It's really difficult to hear how close Jose came to losing his status, you know? I mean, just 10 days away from being deported from his family and from his home. As a first-generation American myself, I can imagine what a devastating blow it would be to lose any family member that way. I'm just happy that this wasn't a battle that they had to fight alone.
I am so impressed with our immigration team when I heard that story. And I know that their workload has been climbing. Immigration cases at Open Door Legal have doubled in the last year. This is such an inspiring story to face such adversity when you come to the United States. It is so uplifting to see how Maria and Jose were not torn apart, but instead can remain together without fear.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. So, on that note, let's jump now to our first ask of the night. And it's a 100% participation ask.
Wait, Devin, what is 100% participation ask?
Oh, Tara, I'm so happy you asked, because in fact, I have it written down right here on my teleprompter. And our 100% participation ask is a chance for every single person watching this to chip in to fund a case. So there are like 400 people watching this event. If every person watching gives just $15, we'll raise enough money to help 3 families, just like Jose and Maria's, whose stories you're hearing tonight. Oh, and a heads up, guys, just to let y'all know, our stream you're seeing is about 20 seconds behind our actual live performance. So that means that it'll take that long for any gifts that you give to appear on the screen, as well as our reactions.
Okay, so everyone who is registered should have received a text message from us with the link to pledge. Let's switch to the live total so we can see when we reach our goal. All right. So, let's see. Right now we're at 15,000. We have to get to 600,000. So come on, guys. That's pledge.
Cool. So I see we have 15 right now, right,
Yeah.
on the screen. Okay.
Oh, 30, 45. Okay, well, we do have some fun facts to share. So why don't you share a fun fact or ODL?
Cool.
Well, people keep having the pledges come in.
Would love to. So we're at 75 now, and just to entertain y'all in the meantime, we have a fun fact about the ODL step.
Okay.
So, or it looks like this is actually an office one. ODL was actually at Folsom Street Fair one time when we really had to raise money, and it worked. We actually raised over $11,000. Some of our staff liked it so much that they actually worked triple shifts.
Oh my gosh, and if you guys know Folsom Street Fair, a triple shift is a long time to be there.
It's true. Yeah. And it's like, what? I mean, 3 hours a shift, so like those people must have really liked to be there for 9 hours.
There must be some labor laws there, but we need to talk to
We won't talk about that. Yeah, we definitely have an employment law team, but we won't drag them into this.
Okay, so far we're at 360. Let's keep it going. Come on, guys.
And in the meantime, do you want to roll off
yes, I have a fun fact about an ODL teammate. Laura Blaine, aka Music Video Vixen, aka our family law attorney, aka Drake's best friend. She was a recording artist. Drake's music video of his song God's Plan. Laura is circled in red in the circle of the video. You can't see that, but it's in my mind forever. And everyone gets Laura's autograph if you want it. If you give $100 right now, we can give you Laura's autograph.
Yeah, that's true. And just so you know,
she's gonna blow up.
Yeah, she is. And she's like the cutest little smudge in this video for sure.
Oh, she's the cutest smudge. Out of all the smudges in the video, she's definitely like.
So Tara, I'm gonna stop you right there because I see we're at $1,215.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
And our goal is 6,000 again, right? So we're like getting much and much closer.
We're so close, guys. Come on. If we can all just keep giving, we can get to the $6,000.
And in the meantime, I would like to share another fact about ODL.
Okay. Yes.
So this is about Virginia and Adrian, our 2 co-founders. They first met in law school here in San Francisco in a class called Rebellious Lawyering.
Oh my gosh. I went to law school and I wish I took any. Did you? I know not, a lot of people don't believe that. But if I could have had a class Rebellious Lawyering, that would have been
I know. That is like the coolest class, right? Like I would love that instead like contracts,
and
like
contracts,
torts or something.
Torts. What's a tort? I thought a tort was something you baked before I went to law school.
Like a little Spanish app, right? We've got some tortas coming out. Yes.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a torta.
So, and again, let's just do a quick check really quickly before we move on.
So we're at 17,040. So come on, guys, let's keep giving. We're gonna get there. I know we can get there. This is great. So to keep entertaining you guys, we're gonna do another fun fact about one of our employees. Lindsay Pace, aka our employment lawyer, aka the one who's going to sue us for doing triple shifts at the Folsom Street Fair. So she went to junior high with Zac Efron. Oh my God, I loved High School Musical. And she competed against him in an improv battle.
I wonder who won.
I think Lindsay. I'm gonna put my money. All my.
I always put my money on Lindsay.
All my money
honestly.
on Lindsay. All my money's always on Lindsay. If you don't know Lindsay, all your money should.
Oh my
go on
God! Actually, Tara, like, so.
Oh my gosh! We're so. Oh my gosh!
We're at $8,675.
Yeah!
We're doing awesome, y'all.
Okay, you guys, that was so amazing. We've met our first goal, meaning we've raised enough to fund 3 cases like Jose's, but there are still so many stories we want to share and so many people we need to help tonight. So let's keep going.
Yeah. So on to our next story. It's about an electrician, an SF native, who was almost forced out of the city that he holds so dear. What does hope mean whenever almost everyone you know and grew up with has been forced to leave? And what happens when that injustice comes creeping for you? And how can you continue to light up your city when all of that happens? Telling our next story is our executive director and co-founder, Adrian Turtinati. Take it away, Adrian.
It's 6 a.m. Keith's alarm goes off. He gets on his bike and heads downtown to the financial district. Keith is a San Francisco native. He knows the city, and specifically Bayview, like the back of his hand.
You know, staying long in San Francisco, I always had jobs from the age of 14 on up. Me getting into this electrician career was the best thing ever, you know. We actually have life inside lights, and the only way life gets there is through these connections.
When Keith comes home from work, he usually heads over to his mom's house. She was diagnosed with MS when he was a teenager, so Keith does everything he can to take care of her.
I have to stay in San Francisco so I can be close. I'm 5 minutes away from my mom. I have to be close to my mom.
On the weekends, Keith takes his niece and nephew dirt biking around his favorite parts of the city. Or at least, he used to. It's been much harder since they've been pushed out of the city.
To me, that was a heartbreaking moment. My sister moving away from where I stay.
Unfortunately, it wasn't just his sister. So many of Keith's friends who he grew up with have also been pushed out.
Raymond got evicted. The person across the street from me, his sister just got evicted. A lot of this happens, and it's not about, wrong or right. It's about, we want the space for somebody else. So we got to get you up out of here.
So many people that Keith loves have left the city. That's why he does all he can to make life easier for the other SF natives left.
So what I do right now when I help some of my neighbors is sometimes I change some of their fixtures, some of they got circuits in the house that they need to be in. I change those. I just do certain little things for my neighbors.
But when Keith's last construction job ended, things went haywire. The very next day, Keith had a 10-day notice on his door.
I felt like I got swindled. I paid my rent on time. I did this, I did that. And every time my pay changed, I went there and showed them. What I feel like now, I feel not out of place, but I feel marked as I walk. I feel like 1,000 eyes are watching me. You know what I mean? Especially with this vest on. They don't expect me to have a job.
Our system almost guarantees a bad result if you can't get legal help. Our best estimates are that a whopping 80% of low-income people with civil legal problems get no help whatsoever. None. Stories like Keith's are why we founded Open Door Legal. We started in 2013 in the Bayview because we believed that it was the least served part of our city. And despite the fact that we're now expanding across San Francisco, Bayview will always be our home. When Keith was born, Bayview was 75% African American. Now it's 20%. And that didn't happen by accident. A little rent miscalculation here, a fraudulent notice to quit there, a refusal to fix substandard housing. The list goes on. The displacement of this community was intentional and illegal. In other words, the evisceration of the Black community in San Francisco was propelled by a refusal from bad actors to treat them fairly and by their exclusion from the legal system. Where Keith saw a neighborhood filled with friends and family, some people saw only a resource to be exploited. On this map, you can see the location of every client we've had in Bayview. On almost every residential block, we've had 5 or more clients. So far, we've kept over 250 people in their homes who were facing eviction and helped get over 170 people into housing. Fast forward to 2020, we've expanded to 3 new offices. Last year alone, we handled 670 cases like Keith's. This year, we project to handle 850. We took on Keith's case and fought the eviction. In just over a month, we got the entire case thrown out.
That was the best experience I ever had. I felt like somebody actually understood me and actually had my back besides saying, well, I don't think that's true. I don't think, she actually went with it and actually seen that I was telling the truth by paperwork and everything else.
It doesn't stop there. Keith also connected us with his mom. It is neither right nor legal that someone like her, struggling with MS, would be denied the care they are owed under Social Security. We took on his mother's case and are working to give her a fully funded caregiver. When your landlord sends you a fraudulent notice, it can feel like a tragedy. When a similar thing happens to you and everyone you know over the course of decades, it can feel like a system. And that is the work we're inviting all of you to participate in tonight. It's not just about individual cases. Universal access is about confronting a system. And if we all work together, we can change that system. We can protect Keith, his family, and his friends. We can fight for his community and his roots and his life. Because people like Keith make San Francisco light up. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Wow, what a powerful story. I mean, we hear stories like Keith's all too often on our housing team. I mean, without legal aid, what started out as a technical mistake can eventually lead to an eviction and homelessness for some. It just reminds me of why I wanted to become a housing attorney in the first place, to help keep the spirit of the city alive and to keep all the residents that I could house.
Yeah, I am so shocked that someone like Keith, who is an electrician, which is such an important and respected trade, must deal with landlords who prey on low-income communities. The power when someone cannot afford an attorney is so grossly unbalanced in the landlord's favor that it is obscene. Without counsel, tenants do not stand a chance. Our neighborhoods really need to be places of family, diversity, and community. If people like Keith and his community are displaced, then we are left with a San Francisco that is just devoid of all the things that make it a unique and vibrant city.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that's why I'm proud to work here at ODL. We're working hard to serve our community, and we deal with hundreds of housing issues every year. And to date, our housing team has kept over 400 people in their homes. I actually even remember 1 week alone where we kept 40 people in their houses.
Wow, what an incredible week.
Yeah, totally. So for our next ask, we're going to see if we can share that same support to more families like Keith's.
Okay, so this park represents all the families that we collectively are going to help stay in their homes tonight. You can see so far 3 families are colored in to represent what we raised in our first ask.
And during this ask, we want to raise enough to help over 20 or to help 25 more families. So approximately $50,000 more dollars. But I've got some great news that I will make this a little easier. An anonymous donor has generally offered to match our nest ask.
Wow!
So that's the
yes.
next $25,000 that's raised.
Oh my gosh.
So if we can get to $40,000 right now, the match will be activated and your gift will be doubled.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So it's so amazing. Now give and have your donation matched. And once we hit that $40,000, the match will be entered.
Yes, let's go. So we're at $15,000 now. Let's get up to $40,000, and then our match will be empty.
Well, Tara, do you want to actually start off by reading some of the comments?
Yes, we have some amazing comments right now. The one I would like to read most is that we have one from Omaha, Nebraska. Rosalind Volkmer on YouTube said, "Hello from Omaha, Nebraska." Hello, Rosalind. I am so happy that you are joining us tonight. And she says, "Congratulations on your good work."
Oh, that's so kind of you, Rosalind.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And it's just awesome that people are watching across the country,
yeah,
right?
and really care about what we're doing.
I know, for sure. Like, it's just not even San Francisco, that knows and cares about the issues that we deal with here, but everywhere. I don't know. That's great to me.
I mean, it definitely makes my job feel like I'm important.
Yeah, I know. Totally. It's
once.
great to feel that way, right? Yeah,
Just for one day.
At least someone makes us feel like that. So I'm going to read one too, but I
Okay.
think before we do that, I want to check in on our equalizer. So we have $17,892.
Oh my god, 20,000!
Oh,
This is great. We are so almost there.
Yeah, look
So
at that. 21.
It's climbing quickly. So we'll read one more.
While we have time.
Well, we
yeah.
have time. More times to read, but hurry up. Don't stop him from talking.
Please. So I have one comment here from Aisha who says, "I love my community, Bayview Hunters Point. I will always fight for my people, and I stand by organizations like ODL who fight for us. I'm forever grateful. Thank you."
Oh, that's so nice.
That
I
is
love
really nice of
things
her.
like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that I am so happy that everyone comes out, and I'm gonna say a fun fact about ODL.
Cool.
So we're going to go to another fun person here. Oh my gosh! I think we met it here.
Yeah, so here's
42.
$20, Tara.
Oh! It does. It does work. Money does
That was a real
work.
screen. Yeah. So we've met our match. It's amazing.
So we've met our second match the first match of the night, our second goal, but we still have a lot to do. So we have helped 28 families stay in their home right now, and that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, y'all. It's so heartwarming.
Okay, so now we are going to introduce my favorite and final story of the night. It is told in our own client's words. It is about a mother and the perseverance she's shown in her quest to break the cycle of violence and bring up her daughter in an environment of love. Let's hear from Karen.
I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself at age 5. What did your day-to-day life look like? What made you smile? What made you feel scared? What made you feel safe? Open your eyes. My name is Karen Midon. When I was 5 years old, I used to close my eyes and imagine how my world could be different. My mom came to the United States from El Salvador 3 years before I was born. She experienced a lot of trauma in her life, largely because of my father. She never really recovered and would often take it out on my brothers and me.
From a little age, she was very abusive. She was verbally abusive, physically abusive. The closest person I had in my life was my twin brother. So he was actually there to keep me sane and keep my hopes up and tell me everything was gonna be okay.
The abuse really messed with him.
He always wanted love from my mom. That's what he wanted the most, was just the love and affection.
He used alcohol as his escape. He passed away last year. He was my best friend in the world. Growing up, I never knew what a healthy relationship looked like. When I was 16, I started dating a terrible guy.
We moved in together, and that's when I saw his actual aggression and who he really was.
When he was extra mad, he physically hurt me. So I've had fractured nose, I have had multiple black eyes, I've had bruises all over my body. In 2014, I got pregnant with my daughter, Aviana. I had realized how abusive he was, and I realized how much of a mistake I had made. I did not want to have Avi at all. I told myself that I didn't want to live the same life that my mom lived. I didn't want a broken family. I gave birth, and instead of being there to care for Avi and me, Avi's dad was at home getting high with his friends. When I got out of the hospital, he refused to help me with childcare. He was never around. I just didn't trust him. I didn't leave him with Avi ever. Once we were arguing and he was extra mad, he started shoving me around. I knew what he was capable of, so I picked up Avi and I walked out of the house. I remember looking into Avi's eyes and seeing the fear that she felt around her dad. I just did not want Avi to see that. So it was either me living with him and letting Avi see all this abusive relationship, and then her going through the same cycle that I'm going through. Because it's like, now I just put myself in the same situation that my mom put me through. Am I going to do that to Avi too? And I didn't want that. Living an abusive relationship is one of the hardest things I've ever done. But the scariest part was figuring out custody for Avi. I needed full custody, and I wouldn't stand for nothing less. I tried to file for full custody myself. My ex hid from the servicer. He filed a response in a different county, hours away from my house. This made the case almost impossible to pursue. I had $4,500 saved up that I wanted for Avi's college fund. I found an attorney and paid him all of it. The private attorney switched the county and let the court give Avi's dad overnight visits. The attorney wouldn't do anything more unless I opened up my wallet again. I was desperate, but the money had run dry. I was out of savings and out of options. It looked like I was going to have to fight this in court alone. I was ready for the worst. This is when I found Open Door Legal. The staff empathized with me and told me that they'd fight for me. My new attorney compiled as much evidence as she could. She found reports of his domestic violence against me and his current girlfriend, and an open CPS case with his second child. I never would have been able to get the documents necessary to show the court this violent history. Finally, the day of my new hearing came. That day, I won the hearing. I got everything I wanted, full custody of Avi and child support. Most importantly, I finally closed a chapter of abuse in my family. If Open Door Legal didn't exist, I don't feel like I'd be as happy as I am now. I don't feel like my daughter would be as happy as she are now. Her dad has actually gotten worse. What if my daughter was at his home? What if something happened to my daughter? Like, he has another child and CPS took away that child. She would be traumatized right now. And because of Open Door Legal, you guys were able to keep her away from that. I am now dating a man who I love so much. We try to show Avi an example of what a healthy relationship should be. He is by far the most loving person I've ever met in my life. He's the one who's like opened my eyes to who I am and made me realize how traumatic of a life I had. He's been there since day one. He's been there for me. He's been there for Avi. He literally just said, I want to step up and I want to be Avi's dad. On May 7th, Avi turned 5 years old. These past few months, I have been reflecting on how her childhood has diverged from mine, and most importantly, from my twins. My brother not being there for her 5th birthday was hard. My brother absolutely loves my daughter. When he found out that I was pregnant, he was more excited than I was. So when she was born, he was really happy, and for him not to be there for her 5th birthday was really upsetting, because every other day she says that she misses her Tío Boris, and that breaks my heart. The biggest thing I remember of him was calling Avi mi chula. Every time he saw her, he would say, oh, mi chula, mi chula. And if you don't know, that just means beautiful in Spanish. So now I call her mi chula, so she can still hear it and remember it. At the end of the day, our children are most important to us, whether we have money or not. we have to be our children's role models. And if we're providing them a bad environment, if we're providing them a bad role model, then our children aren't going to grow. We're just going to continue the cycle. And it's just not me continuing the cycle, it's everyone continuing the cycle. Because we don't have these resources, then what other option do we have? There are so many people like Avi and me in San Francisco who still need help. Tonight, right here, right now, you have the power to change their lives too. The power to stop the cycle of abuse in their tracks. The power to change things so that when another girl like Avi closes her eyes and looks back at age 5, she will smile.
Wow, that is a heartbreaking story. What is so difficult is that people do not understand the cycle of abuse and how deep and pervasive it permeates everyone's lives who are involved. I am so overwhelmed with emotion to see somebody who was able to escape and survive the violence. I am so proud of our family law team for all they did with Karen, but also all they do every day to help so many people like Karen realize a safe, healthy, and loving home. As a mother, I know how crucial it is to feel like you can protect your children, and I just think Karen is so amazing and brave.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear stories like these, I feel a lot of hope. I mean, something as simple as legal aid can totally change somebody's life. Like, it can put a stop to trauma or give someone a new start. And I just know that the whole family law team works hard every day to represent parents and to ensure that their children can grow up in a healthy home.
Yeah, imagine feeling completely unsafe in your own home.
I know for sure. And unfortunately, domestic violence survivors usually end up having to flee from their homes in order to seek safety. But our team works tirelessly to ensure that survivors can stay in their home, and it's the abusers that need to leave.
It has been heavily reported that COVID, there's a huge spike in housing issues, as you may know. But what is not so heavily reported is that there has already been a huge increase in family law issues, including domestic violence.
Yeah, totally. And so I'm just, again, super proud of our whole family law team for assisting so many families during these times. And just over the past few years, we've actually resolved 220 cases just like Karen's. So the value of that isn't just going to show today. I know it's definitely going to show for generations to come. So let's go now to our final ask. And we'll bring the park back onto the screen.
Okay. So now we are going to finish filling in this park and keep 100 families in their homes. So far, we have raised $79,777, which leaves $111,333. So give now and let's see how many families like Karen's and Keith's and Jose we can help.
Right. I mean, you're doing great, y'all. And I just want to give you guys a breakdown to give you guys a sense of what your donations accomplish. So for $100, that funds us for one intake. That includes things like scheduling the appointments, collecting documents, and having one meeting. And, for many community members, this is actually all that they need to resolve their issues. But about a half of our cases do turn to real cases, though. So for $100 or $250, you can fund one motion. Those are essentially requests for the court to do something like dismiss a case. For example, on the housing team, we often file many motions to dismiss evictions because there wasn't a proper notice or the reason they gave was illegal for the eviction, right?
Totally.
And kind of as you said earlier, $2,000 is what an average case costs for us.
$2,000 in one case.
Right, like the 3 that you've seen tonight. So most cases are about 50 hours of work spread across several months, and it's quite literally an investment, for this to change the trajectory of somebody's whole life.
Yeah, that's a little investment to completely change someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to now check the... Oh, what? Devin, hold on. Stop talking. We have a new announcement here. So we're getting notice here, breaking news, that we have another anonymous donor. And now, if we can raise another $25,000, we can have an anonymous donor match it with another $25,000. So all we have to do is raise $25,000 and we have another match. Thank you. This is so generous and so amazing.
Yeah, and just to check in, it looks like we have $116,000 or $116,000, $950.
So our goal is $140,000. If we can get to $140,000, then our goal will be matched.
So actually it jumped up to $122,000.
This is so great. Everyone is doing so great. If we could just keep this going, this is amazing.
I mean,
and in the meantime, we're gonna take 1 second to do a new teammate fact.
Let's do it.
I would like to say Patricia, since we just did a family law team.
Yeah.
Patricia, who is our amazing family law attorney. So she returned. Okay, so she broke a guy's arm while wrestling him. This is how serious our family law
For
team
sure.
is.
I wrestled in high school, and I can say I never had a broken arm, never
I
broke
would never
anyone's arm.
wrestle
Patricia, fierce. Would not
Fierce.
wrestle her. Would not do anything with her. For sure.
Fierce. Okay. So don't mess with our family law team. Okay, we're at $142,000. Oh my gosh.
That one's
Woo! Hold on.
Please give us donation.
That is so amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. So, looks like we're wrapping up, and
Yeah, so I think what we want to do is put everything together now with our generous group of people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so now it's time to add in all of the money that we've raised before the evening. So that means like our sponsors, like the gifts we received from our registration form, and proceeds from the auction thus far. This will give us a final total that we've raised together. Before that though, Tara, can I get a drum roll, please?
Okay. I'm glad you asked.
All right.
Little bongos.
Yeah, it looks like $254,870.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
$254,000.
We did it,
You guys are
everyone.
so amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Let me get
Oh my god.
This is amazing. I mean, this is
yeah.
way more than we expected. Thank
Totally.
you so much, you guys. This is such a generous group of people. I can't even believe we did this tonight.
Yeah, Tara, I mean, guys, look at this park. Representing all of the families that we've helped tonight. Just take a second, guys. Imagine it. The sound of children laughing and of all their parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends enjoying the San Francisco sun beaming down. These truly are our neighbors. And tonight, thanks to y'all, we'll ensure that entire park full of our neighbors can access justice, stay in their homes, and find belonging. So, I think it's time to pour a glass.
Yes.
Yes, because I'd like to make a toast. At Open Door Legal, we believe that the law belongs to all of us. So I toast to all y'all for helping bring our vision just that much closer to reality. Cheers and salud.
Oh my God, I'm so happy right now. I can't even believe it. This is so amazing. But just to let you guys know, we have a couple housekeeping items to talk about. So the auction will continue until 7 p.m. tomorrow. So feel free to continue bidding until then. We will notify you if you've won tomorrow, and we'll follow up with you next week to deliver your item. Our staff will follow up with everyone who pledged a gift to collect donations this coming week. If you entered your credit card and pledged over $1,000, we will not run your credit card without additional confirmation. If you want to be charged directly, you can click on the link you used to give, press menu, your account, and credit cards to input your payment information. If you want to learn more about the work we do here, then please visit opendoorlegal.org. Yes. Woo! So thanks again to all of our sponsors for making this possible, and especially to our protector sponsors, which are Good Paper and Charcis Fries. And thank you to Jose, Maria, Keith, and Karen for sharing your stories tonight. We know that took a lot of courage, and I hope that these stories and the thousands of stories from our clients that we were not able to share tonight have inspired you to help them make the law truly belong to all of us. Thank you so much for being part of our community, and hopefully next year we can celebrate in person. Woo! Thank you so much. This is amazing. Cheers.